The morning is clear and beautiful now that the war between Javier and the angel Raphael has ended. The singing concert of Lloyd Frontera, which sounded like the screams of demons from hell, has also ended. Meanwhile, Yang Yang and Bibiong are playing in the river where the construction of the Truth Jewel is constructed. It seems that Lloyd Frontera's Tupakmon have become closer. As it is already early morning, Raphael, looking different this time, starts to wake up. He then puts on his upper clothing to begin the day. Of course, he picks up his glasses, which perfectly complement his attire as an administrative angel. These glasses, however, failed to protect him from the sand that Javier had thrown at him. To complete his look, he fixes his hairstyle the classic look of someone who works as an administrative officer. Now, everything is perfect, shining, and splendid. He begins his run, which may be part of his routine to understand humans in the lower realm better, as Lloyd had told him. Being a very gentle angel, Raphael starts attracting animals, like Snow White from Disney. He greets the deer, rabbit, squirrel, and birds. He remarks that the skies are filled with the beautiful singing of sparrows today, and the birds start chirping in response. In fact, they are talking to the angel. Raphael seems to understand them, and the birds actually request to hear him sing. This makes Raphael blush, as he is shy about his singing. He admits feeling a little embarrassed, but since he ought to repay the kindness shown to him, he agrees to sing. I hope Raphael is different from the best singer in hell, Lloyd Frontera. Raphael takes his position, preparing to sing the first note. When he starts, the melody is so amazing that all the animals are overjoyed. They are jumping, and their eardrums are not bleeding in contrast to what Lloyd's singing caused. The farmer at the Frontera estate feels uplifted after hearing Raphael sing. He says that listening to an angel's voice every morning warms his heart. His wife agrees, and she begins to question why their young master Lloyd's singing sounds so different. These two, who were the most loyal fans of Lloyd Frontera and even built a statue of his legendary ugly face, seem to be changing sides after hearing his singing voice. It seems Lloyd's popularity is dropping. The former captain of the White Lance says that although Raphael was an enemy at first, he has now become a source of strength for them in the mornings. Therms, who was once a rebel leader, agrees. He also questions why the young master Lloyd's singing sounds so different. Why is everyone questioning Lloyd's singing when he was the greatest singer in hell? Even Byron, the loyal knight of the Frontera estate, asks the same question. While he is amazed by Raphael's singing voice, he doesn't realize that Javier and Lloyd are actually behind him, listening. When he looks back, he is shocked to see his master. Byron nervously asks Lloyd if he heard all of that. He begs Lloyd for forgiveness, explaining that after they heard his horrifying singing a few days ago, they've been having nightmares. He says their hearts are being purified by Raphael's singing, and they can't help their reactions. Lloyd says he understands and appreciates Byron's honesty, but he asks them to stop talking about it. Lloyd is clearly annoyed because everyone is talking about his singing when he himself is actually the best at it according to demons. He says that Raphael is strangely upsetting him. Javier tells Lloyd that it seems he is jealous that everyone likes Raphael. Javier then gives Lloyd some straight talk, saying that an angel is better than a demon who shrieks from the pits of hell. Lloyd becomes even more irritated and asks his bodyguard if he's implying that he comes from hell. Lloyd reminds him that it was the angel who attacked them first, asking if he knows that. Javier replies that there's nothing they can do now since Raphael has already melted everyone's hearts. Javier told Lloyd to look at them, but looking at them, his loyal Pakmon are now so happy with Raphael. Gaming, Podong, Hamang, and Bengal seem to be enjoying themselves while they are with Raphael. Lloyd, who was watching, could only label his Pakmon as traitors. Javier asks him if he dislikes him that much, why not just drive Raphael away? Lloyd said that he already signed the contract, and he can't get a lot from Raphael either. It seems the deadly contract Lloyd made is backfiring on him this time. But before that there was an agreement between Raphael and Lloyd. Lloyd starts explaining some things Raphael needs to know. He called Raphael and told him that there are two major things Raphael must do for him. Lloyd said the first thing Raphael must do is inform him in advance of everything the Heavenly Realm plans to do following this event. Raphael raises his phone and tells Lloyd that doing that is not a problem. He says that this clever phone can receive news from the Heavenly Realm quickly and precisely. Raphael tells Lloyd that he hopes Lloyd will be able to live a more saint-like life with the clever phone in the lower realms. Lloyd said that what Raphael just said is so fitting of him as an angel. For the second request, Lloyd says there is something he needs to confirm with Raphael first. He asks Raphael if, during the period of punishment, he is still able to prove that he is an angel. Raphael shows his form, with his angel wings, halo, and the light accompanied by the sound of singing from the heavenly realm. He asks Lloyd if the proof he shows him is enough. Lloyd says it is seriously convincing that he is an angel. He then asks Raphael if he wasn't stripped of his authorities given by the heavenly realm. Raphael replies that while all of his powers may be gone, his appearance still remains. Lloyd smiled and said that it's all good now. He told Raphael that he needs him to cooperate with him as best as he can with the plan he is about to tell him. I don't know what plan this might be, but since it was created by the master manipulator Lloyd Frontera, it must be a masterpiece of a plan. Going back to where Lloyd and Javier were, Lloyd told Javier that the Heavenly Realm is having a meeting because of them taking a firm stand. But Lloyd assured him that it is obvious that meetings among the higher-ups will take a long time, so they need to ask the Truth Jewel as soon as possible before the meeting ends. Then everything will be fine, even if they destroy the Truth Jewel. Lloyd smiled, saying that the Truth Jewel will be completed in a few hours. But Javier was silent, maybe thinking about something else. Javier called Lloyd and told him that what he was about to say might be a little random. Lloyd looked back at him after he said that. Javier told Lloyd that his singing is better than Raphael's. I don't know why the hell he said that, but maybe Javier became a demon because only the demons treat Lloyd as the greatest singer in hell. Lloyd was speechless at first, but as the thought sank in, he told Javier that what he said was really random. He asks Javier if he knows how ridiculous he sounds right now. Javier, with a poker face, said that Lloyd's singing truly sounds horrible. It has the same impact as a great disaster, one filled with the curses and shrieks of a demon from the hells of hell. Lloyd told Javier that he is pretty eloquent with his words right now. It's like Javier has become a minstrel or something. Javier became serious this time and told Lloyd that this might be the reason Lloyd doesn't really like singing. He said that Lloyd always feels embarrassed and guilty after singing, but Javier praised him because, despite all of that, he still sings as loud as he can. Lloyd endures every embarrassment for the sake of saving people. Javier seriously said that if there was any kind of singing that could be called the most noble, it would be that. Lloyd's eyes widened after hearing that. I don't know if he was touched by Javier's words, but he started sweating and smirking. Lloyd told Javier that he must have gone crazy for saying that, but Javier stopped him from continuing and told Lloyd that even though he said that, he still doesn't like and doesn't want to hear Lloyd singing. Javier said that his face is already frowning just at the thought of it. Even with that compliment, Lloyd was still annoyed at what Javier had told him. I don't know why these two seem so awkward in expressing their feelings for one another. Lloyd started to walk away and told Javier that after hearing his last sentence, all of his goosebumps went away. But even without either of them saying it, the reflection tells it all. Lloyd smiled while walking away because of that compliment. Javier also smiled at the thought. This must be the ending of this novel, but if it turns into boys' love, I will stop creating recaps on this. Going back, we are now nearing the end of this arc as Gaming was carrying the last piece of material for the construction of the Truth Jewel, and he was flying toward the building. The lazy bird Gaming was ordered by Lloyd to drop the Kier aura at the top of the structure. He released it mid-air, and the Kier aura transformed into a shiny magical thing. Then it slowly sank and settled at the top of the Truth Jewel building. It formed into water that continued to slowly fall on the Aotearoa building, like a fountain. Then a Windows notification popped up, stating that the Truth Jewel, Aotearoa, has been completed. It told Lloyd that he had now obtained RP for completing a legendary achievement. A total of 8,500 RP was obtained. Lloyd ordered his workers to open the water gate. They opened it as Lloyd ordered, and the water started gushing in, but in an orderly manner due to human intervention. Then the system announced that the construction of the Frontera Dam, the largest concrete dam in the history of Laurasia, is now complete. With this, Lloyd received another bonus RP. He obtained 1,500 RP, and his total RP is now 10,071 RP. The water reached Aotearoa and started to rise slowly. After a short time, the truth jewel, Aotearoa, fully sank to the bottom of the water. Lloyd also jumped into the water to see if Aotearoa was ready for its purpose. Then the power of Aotearoa, which answers any questions, seemed to work this time as it slowly formed into something. Lloyd smiled and raised his hands because finally, it was time to hear the answers he had been looking for the longest time, the answers that could save everyone. As Lloyd looked into it to ask the truth jewel, it started shining brightly. Then a song could be heard. The building had some sort of background music, and it was singing La 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 or something. In a singing manner, the truth jewel greeted Lloyd and told him that it was made to speak only the truth. It then introduced itself as Aotearoa. Lloyd was disappointed by this effect, thinking that the author of the novel of Iron Blood Knight really does a lot of half-useless things. Aotearoa asked Lloyd if he had any questions. However, it told Lloyd that answers wouldn't be free. It asked Lloyd if he would reveal one of his deepest secrets. Lloyd was confused and asked Aotearoa what secret it meant. The truth jewel said that it wanted a secret that only Lloyd knew in the whole world. Javier also jumped into the water to look for his master, but Lloyd was deep in thought. He considered telling the truth jewel who he really was but stopped, thinking it wouldn't work since Javier already knew that. He began to wonder if any secret would work. Lloyd ended up telling the truth jewel an embarrassing secret. He said that after he finishes his number 2 and wipes the sides, he rolls the toilet paper as much as possible to make it thin and sharp. Then he sticks it in, turns right 5 times, and turns left 5 times. He repeats this a total of 3 times. I'm not sure what Lloyd is talking about, but maybe he's describing the choreography of how he wipes his butt after taking a dump. Then the truth jewel released fireworks into the sky. The fireworks exploded, and it made an announcement showing Lloyd's face, then proceeded to tell everyone Lloyd's secret word for word. Javier stood there looking up, expressionless, while Lloyd turned red, covering his face in embarrassment as the truth jewel shared his secret. With a serious face, Javier asked Lloyd how deeply he sticks it in. Lloyd angrily told Javier to forget everything he said and act like he doesn't know anything. Lloyd then asked Javier why he was even there in the first place. Javier replied that Lloyd had once told him a powerful impact wave would occur when it was activated. Although somewhat shy, Javier admitted to Lloyd that he was worried. Lloyd, confused, wondered why Javier had been acting so differently recently. It's not like anyone is dying. Why does this scene feel like someone is going to die? The truth jewel reminded Lloyd to ask his question. Lloyd was silent, perhaps gathering his resolve before hearing the answer. He finally said that he had come from a different world to this one. He explained that he had done a lot of things and saved many people who were supposed to die or face tragedies, but the restoration phenomenon of fate kept trying to reverse their fates. He asked the truth jewel to tell him how he could stop it. The truth jewel began shining brightly as it searched for the answer to Lloyd's question. A large whirlpool started forming around the truth jewel, just as predicted by his engineering simulation. Javier used his wings to shield his master from the impact. Lloyd was transported to a pitch-black, dark place. The truth jewel told Lloyd that this was a space where only Lloyd and the truth jewel existed. It said that only Lloyd could hear the answer to his question. After hearing that, Lloyd thought the truth jewel was speaking differently. The truth jewel addressed Lloyd, or rather Kim Suho, and revealed that Lloyd Frontera was supposed to be dead but didn't die. Additionally, Lloyd had stolen the position of the protagonist, which was meant for Javier Asrahan. The truth jewel told Kim Suho that the world was trying to kill Lloyd, restore the fates, and return the protagonist role back to Javier. Because of the bug known as Lloyd Frontera, the world was unable to locate the protagonist and suffered a severe error. It explained that fate had gone berserk in an attempt to restore the original story, even at the cost of destroying probability. In order to pacify the world and end the chaos, the story had to be reset. The truth jewel revealed the biggest twist of the story. A clear protagonist had to be decided, either Lloyd or Javier. The story would reset when one of the two died. Lloyd, or rather Kim Suho, fell to his knees as the truth jewel told him that there were no other options. Damn! This story is getting darker as it progresses. Javier, on the other hand, was calling his master, who was on his knees, lost in thought. Lloyd was shaking, and he seemed in shock as a dark, eerie aura surrounded the area. Javier called out to his master, but there was no response from Lloyd. Lloyd was groaning as if he had seen the god of death or a shinigami or something. Javier shouted, telling his master Lloyd to please breathe. Then Suho started to remember the time when he was working in construction. He thought about how he had worked hard without resting, carrying the hope that things would get better one day. Javier kept shouting, pleading with his master to breathe. The bodyguard was so worried now. He asked his master if it was because of his heart. Javier shouted, asking if Lloyd's heart wasn't feeling well. Meanwhile, the light of life in Suho was slowly fading. The light could only tell poor Suho to hang in there a little longer, that things would get better one day. Javier continued shouting to wake his master up. He gasped, asking his master if his mana flow was okay, and if it was in a normal state. He begged his master Lloyd to wake up this time, but Lloyd was moving toward the light that must be for the afterlife. He was reaching for it, thinking he just needed a little more time, just a little more. Javier, in desperation, was using mana to control and revive his master, but Lloyd now looked like someone on the verge of death, raising his hand to reach the light. However, that light seemed to disappear, the light of hope that gave him the motivation to keep going and wait a little longer. His face was on the brink of death. Damn! This is a roller coaster of emotions from one of the best manhwa ever created. Why won't they let the MC rest when all he wants is a simple, lazy life?